Hey guys, it's Robbo here from the We Talk podcast, and today we have Davey Blaze from ICW. Davey, how you doing?
Not bad, mate. How are you? You good?
Aye, not bad, mate. So, Davey, for people who don't know, what are you known for?
Known to be the man that is called the Buckfast Barbarian in ICW, the Scottish Savage, for the Bucky Boys, also other companies as well, quite well known around the areas of the UK. So that's people will know me from there.
Fair enough. So, but you're from the wrestling scene. What companies do you work with?
Work with companies such as like Premier British Wrestling, British Championship Wrestling, Insane Championship Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Elite, All Star Wrestling, NGW,
Definitely been about
other
then.
companies. Oh, definitely been about, man. Big major companies, absolutely. Even in Europe as well. Been in Germany, Denmark, Italy. Aye, so I've been about.
Fair enough. So for people who don't know, you teamed up at the start with Stevie Boy as the Bucky Boys. How was that for you?
Yes. Oh, it was brilliant, man. It was brilliant. Just teaming up with Stevie alone was fantastic. How we came about was actually quite funny. The Bayface were like paying our dues coming into ICW when we were young back in the day, doing security and stuff like that. A lot of people might not know that I started off as a tag team in ICW as Blaze and Rampage. From there, we went into a storyline with Fight Club. The finishing match was at Apollo 23. And then backstage at Apollo 23, Dallas pulled me and Stevie aside and more or less says, right, used to, I've got this gimmick in my head, used to are perfect for it. It's called the Bucky Boys. These are going to be wee fannies. The people will love you. You're going to be our trackies. You're going to drink Buckfast. I asked a stupid question. A real Buckfast? And they went, aye, real Buckfast, Davey, fuck's sake. So he was like, it's going to be fantastic. He'll love it. Boom. I can't trust the gimmick anywhere else. I can't trust the gimmick better than used to than other anybody else. So that was us. Boom. Bucky Boys.
Fair enough. You have won tag team titles together. You then when just after you lost the tag team, you and Stevie kind of split. So in the lead up to that
Yes.
betrayal, how was that when he left you to go and join the NAK and the storyline behind that? How was that for you?
It was great. Well, it was great, but it was heartbreaking. But it was a perfect kind of call for us to do it because me and Stevie were tagging with each other for 5.5 years, and that was all over the UK. Like we were doing well. Still young at the time. But the fans weren't getting stale. They weren't not enjoying us anymore. Like, we still had plenty left in the tank. Um, but that time the SCCC was coming up,
Hmm.
and Dallas says to us, he was like, "Listen," he went, "for anybody to be on the show, I want you to come to me with ideas, pitches, and then that's if it's good, then you'll get a spot." So the night Stevie in London, the first night of the tour, the second night of the tour, sorry, of the first ICW tour, Stevie won the 0G in London. And then from there, we were at the back talking away and stuff. And Dallas came out and he was like looking at me, Stephen Kelly, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you," blah, blah, no knowing what was going to come next. And then me and Stevie went, "Right, well, we want to break up." And he just looked at us to say, "What? Like, what?" We were like, "Look, you say is that to go on the SCCC, you want to have people to create good storylines. It needs to be worthwhile, like, and then you'll get a spot." So then Stevie says, "Why don't me and Blaze break up the tomorrow night at Flawless Victory in the 2-on-1 against Wolfgang? I
Hmm.
join the NAK, and then from there we can fucking like we can get into the feud." So it's like,
Message just
oh,
walking by with a dog.
so it's like he was like, "Oh my god," he just looked at us and he went, "I'm so proud of you." He went, "But aye, all right, then I'll trust you with us." And then the second night, well, sorry, the last night, the garage 2-on-1 in the Wolfgang. That was when Kaylee Ray came back. She was like in the hooded figure. I go to do the hot tag on Stevie at one point. She pulls Stevie down. I turn round, take the Hurricane Rana off Kelly, and then she gives me the low blow. She dives out the ring. Stevie comes in, and then that positions it up for the split. Canadian Destroyer. Everybody's losing their fucking shit. I think at one point I heard that somebody took a heart attack and fucking died and went to the hospital. I think people were taking strokes as well.
I know, wonder,
fucking
5 years of staying the same tag team. It's like the Hardys.
I know, mate. So I think somebody booked a ticket on Ticketmaster Scotland, man. They'll shitty change their name to Stroke Team of the Year.
Just in case. So, apart from the whole thing with Stevie, what has been your best storyline of feud in ICW?
Best storylines and feuds. Me and Stevie for the 0G title at ending at the SCCC. Me and Joe Hendry the following year when we opened up the Hydro. Me and DCT and the B-Man against Coach Tripp, but it involves Coach Tripp's wee boy. And that led to the infamous legendary promo Easter Sunday, his wee boy. And then it led into the Kiss My Arse match. So I would say
top 3
singles. Aye, they're the top 3. Aye.
How did you get into wrestling?
I get into wrestling like the age of 15. Obviously, like before I was the size I was now. I used to get bullied. I used to get bullied a lot and stuff. And it was like I always wanted to be a wrestler. That was the fucking thing in my head. And then I came across the school, Primal Bex Wrestling. I joined the school under Kid Fight. Get taught off him, and then from there that was me.
See, one thing I always wish I got into was into the I love watching this, but I wish I'd done what you guys do, because it's amazing to see. You see people like Lou, you see people like Noam Dar, these guys who have done amazing for themselves. Yourself as well, you've been all over the world smashing it, and it's like, if I didn't go down the career path I went down, I'd have loved to. If I knew the school was there in Glasgow at the time when I came out of college, I wish I went down that route instead of the route I went down with work.
Aye.
You during the wrestling, you didn't got a knee injury that you were out for a long time for. What did you do during that knee injury? How did you keep yourself fit and your mentality to say, I want to go back?
Well, at the time, I was me and Stevie became 2-time tag team champions in the first London show actually, and then I had this knee problem. It was basically just like wear and tear on the cartilage. So the cartilage was like popping in and out. So I had to go for surgery. I thought it was going to be keyhole surgery, which is pretty serious. But thankfully, we had to vacate the titles. I was off for fucking 4 months, something like that. I went and seen my knee. I went and seen a physio who was the ex-Celtic physio back in the day, Brian Scott. I went and seen him, and he basically had me back literally before I could even do any workouts or anything like that. He had me back walking on my feet, using the knee properly without a knee brace and crutches in 3 weeks. From there, it was a serious rehabilitation course I done. With resistance bands, body weight workouts and stuff like that, building it back up. I was back sooner than expected because I can remember filming the first ever BBC Insane Fight Club. Just when my knee was rehabbed, basically, and it was coming up for the Fear and Loathing show at the Barras, and that was when I made my comeback. Because it was Stevie and Kaylee versus Liam Thompson and Camille. And I made my comeback, speared Liam, and then fucking 3D'd Camille. Fucking amazing, man.
Bet you it's been great. Thinking about.
Oh, mate. Fucking, it was amazing. Just, wham, 3D. Everybody just lost their shit, man. Because it was like, I think she slapped me at one point, and I just done the, and I was like, everybody was like, cunt. It was like, fucking up, boom, 3D, man. Have that. Here's your dinner.
So before lockdown, you were feuding with Mad Bam Ravey Davey.
Mm-hmm.
How did that go about, and can we see it in the future happening again if the garage ever opens up its doors again to get you guys in?
I could possibly maybe see it happening once everything fully goes back to normal. Aye, absolutely. And that the thing that how it happened as well, because at the time I was away for 3 years. At that point, I think that was my longest kind of absence
Yep.
from ICW. And it was like fucking Grado beat Davey Davey. But from that night at Fear and Loving, Davey Davey had to then
Find
also
out.
go into like another storyline to
Aye.
keep him fresh, keep him going.
Keep them relevant.
So yes, so who would be better than none other than me?
The original Ned.
Original Ned coming back fighting Ned Nightmare, Davey Davey. And the whole idea was to basically like put him over, was to like bring him up to like our level.
Your level, the main event level.
Aye, yeah, to bring him up.
And
So you fucking like basically like put him over and stuff like that. Because obviously these guys now, like, don't get me wrong, like back in the day, me and Stevie, like we were working with guys like Jester, Wolfie, Lionheart, BT Gunn, Kid Fight, Liam Thompson, fucking Johnny Moss,
Joe Coffey, Mark
Jimmy
Coffey,
Havoc, Sumerian Death Squad, Paul London, you name it. We were working with all these guys. So we get brought up to their level. Like do you know what I mean? So nowadays in ICW, don't get me wrong, like they're all doing extremely well.
Yeah.
But it's at a stage now where it's like they've been there at a level for so long now. They've no really
hit that
got up
extra gear.
Right. So it's like this is now more or less like, right, okay, if you don't do this, then it's fucking like what else are you doing to no get up? So it's like our job now to bring these guys up to our level, give them the experience, and then fucking so that they can be at our level. Do you know what I mean? But I would like to kind of see that storyline kind of finish and play out. So I'd like that.
So how have you been keeping yourself in shape during lockdown with all the gyms been shut and stuff? What have you been doing?
Well, since the gyms opened back up, I've been and before they shut, actually, before the actual first lockdown, I've been training at Wolfgang's gym, Iron Girders.
Alright.
I've been getting myself into pretty good shape before, and I was in amazing shape before lockdown. Obviously, lockdown happened, the gyms were shut for months. I was doing bits and bobs around about the house, but it wasn't really relevant and helped me out as much as what
your
do
weights,
you know what I mean? So
running machine.
Aye, so it was like now that I'm back in the gym and stuff like that, everything's been kind of going well. So I've been keeping good. How you been keeping?
Well, before lockdown, I was a DJ.
So tick wow.
Pretty much, mate. Doing nightclubs, doing parties, literally 4 days a week, and then obviously with everything that's happened, it's kind of been put on hold for me. I started 2.5 years.
Is it like one of the ones you go, when I say disco, you say, oh, disco, oh.
Aye, pretty much. Aye, so that's like a function. But like during lockdown, I've expanded my career, so I've started doing like live streaming on Twitch and Facebook gaming.
Right.
So playing COD, playing Among Us, doing different things, and then the last month I was speaking to several people about doing a podcast and throwing ideas about, and then that's how this one came about. So it was like I was looking at people and they were doing like, you've got your was it the What Culture guys who only do wrestling. You've got like Cy Ferry and that do the football stuff, and you think to yourself, how could you implement all this? Because there's a lot of musicians now who are out of work and who'd like to self promote, and it's like, how do we bring these guys? I thought, you know what, we'll do a podcast that brings in everything.
Aye.
So it's like when I've got,
it's like you make a podcast and it's not just
a target audience.
It's not just like target audience to like one thing. So it's like you do that. You obviously you're doing it now, so that's quite good, man. That's a solid idea in that, and I hope you all the best with it. And I really think you've got your kind of plan. You know what you're doing with it. You know.
Well, the good thing
your audiences
is
now.
Once lockdown kind of eases up, we're looking to move it from obviously this to, do you know where Barbuda was? Kilts and Cocktails now.
Aye.
So my
Drank in
pal,
there plenty of times.
well, that's where I DJ'd. My pal owns it.
Aye.
And he said to me, if I want, I can go there and host a podcast.
Fuck yeah, get that on the go, mate. Get
So-
the free booze going.
Trust me, Thomas, maybe I'll speak to him about that. But he said if I want, I can go and use that as like the hub, pretty much.
Aye.
And I've been thinking about it more the last couple of days. I'm thinking that'd be a great idea because it's different.
Aye.
They've got the
It's
VIP.
like your own space and all that as well, and it looks proper. Do you know what I mean? It's
Aye.
like when you get a proper setup and stuff like that, it'll look cracking, mate.
So that's what the aim is. Hopefully, I've been into ICW for about 3-4 years now. I'll hold my hand up there. I said this to Lou, but my missus, she's only gotten it since you went onto the WWE network.
Mhm.
So me and her were watching Fear and Loathing, where it was Kayla Ray versus Viper, and she watched.
Aye, that was a show that would have been one of the years that I wasn't there.
Yeah, so me and her watched that, and
Aye.
she was that way. You know what women are like? They'll pay attention, but they'll sit play their games on their phone. Well, no, her full attention was on this match, and she told me this shit's fucking brutal.
Aye, it was pretty fucking brutal, man. So it was.
So like,
it was an amazing match.
oh,
so it was
match of the year for me
bit
for that year.
brutal. But aye, but
but
brutal,
even
man.
now-
Aye, definitely.
Every Saturday night, we are going to bed and watching the latest episode of Fight Club on the network. So we were sitting on the WWE network watching the latest episode of Fight Club. We've watched all the pay-per-views. Me and her watched stuff on YouTube.
Aye.
So it's getting her into it as well, which is a bonus because she supports my career changes very much. Like she helps me when I told her like I worked and ran bars for many years. I was 18, and then it was like I got bored. I majorly couldn't be bothered anymore. I thought my pal was DJing at the time, and I was like, I'll come watch you for a bit, see what it's like, and just picked it up within a couple of nights. And he looked at me like, "How have you picked this up?" And I've now ended up working in like Fantouche and Paisley on a Saturday night.
I used to do the door there.
Really? So you'll know one of my best pals, Gemmel.
I know Gemmel, aye.
Gemmel's one of my best pals.
I've worked with him, aye.
Aye, Gemmel's a good pal of mine. And it's stuff like that. Like when I told him about the podcast, he was like, "Go for it, Connor. You've got the ambition. You're good on the mic. You know what you're talking about." So, aye, that's where this all came from. Like the podcast was more I'm bored again. There's games because the new COD that are coming out. It's like I'm bored of the old COD. But I've got a week and a half to wait, so I'm thinking to myself, what can I do in my spare time?
See, I'm waiting for the PS5 to come out.
Aye.
I'm going to get the PS5 and I'm going to get the Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh, that looks amazing.
And that Call of Duty Cold War looks fucking dynamite, man. So it does. It looks insane.
I played the alpha and the beta.
Is it any good?
Wasn't the biggest fan of the multiplayer. But I grew up on zombies. Zombies was my thing.
Aye, zombies was like back the fucking... What game was that came out?
World at War.
World at War.
So World at War, and it was your Black Ops storyline, which brought more into it, which I loved. But aye, that's where that came from. So I do have a couple more questions.
Yep.
One of them is Team 3D putting you through a table. How was that experience?
Mate, that was fucking that was mental, man. That was mind blowing, actually. I can remember opening up the second biggest show. Finishing the match with Joe Hendry. Going backstage, I went into Kurt Angle's locker room. He was planning the match with Joe Coffey. I asked him for some feedback and stuff like that, man, and he couldn't. He couldn't believe that I was only 23 at the time, or something like that. He couldn't believe I was 23. I had to show my ID, right? He gave me the most amazing advice ever, man. Like I was nearly greeting. He was like that to me. He says like, the new generation of heels will come out and want the crowd to like them. He says, but you, I've watched you. He says, I've worked with Joe twice. He says, I know what he's like and stuff like that. He says, but I never don't. He says, no disrespect. He says, but I don't know you. He says, but you came out there and you loved it. You loved hating,
you loved to be hated.
Up to the crowd. He says, you were just a pure nasty guy. He says, well, like the way you were working with him, the way you were selling, bumping, everything. And I was like, fucking, I just like to joke off it to say, wow, man. So I got a photo with him. Boom. Backstage, me and my man were sitting with a can of beer, cheersing each other. I was actually talking to Lionheart at the time, and I'm sitting behind this big fucking double door, right? So this door gets booted in, bang, belts off me, and it's fucking Dallas's voice. She's like, "Where's Davey? Where's Davey?"
And you're just sitting there days like that.
Mate, I'm here. What is it? Adrian's Lionheart sitting pissing himself laughing. And he's like, "Mate, do you want to go through a table after Team 3D?" I looked at me, man. I went, "Aye." He's like, "Right, get your bits on and get down the nude because Pole Promotions and Team 3D are out." And I was like, "Is it?" I was like, at Dallas at first. I went, "Mate, is this a rib?" I mean, am I going to run out here and just get fucking pure like get heat because I've just ran out in the middle of a match? And he's like, "No, I need you to go through a table to basically fix the match." And I was like, "How much wrong with the match?" And he says, fucking Bubba and Devon went to go for the 3D. So Devon's picked him up and Bubba's just went like that, but no even fucking hit the 3D. And I went, "What?"
Pure
I went, "You
botched
kidding
it.
me on?" Pure botched it. Dallas bought about fucking 6 tables or something like that for them all to be used.
Oft.
Right? So they never once used a table. And I was the one that had to go out and get put through the table. I basically saved the tag match.
Fair dues. So obviously I've done my research on you. And I came across an article about you on Take Me Out.
Uh-huh.
How was that experience and what happened with the date?
Mate, that experience was dynamite, man. Like it was, I must have been 18 back then. And I was applied for it because back then I was a buff butler. I used to do the buff butlering.
You know,
right? So we get these audition things in for Take Me Out. And I was like, instantly, I was like so young in my career, but quite well established, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, this is going to help my career majorly because I knew Marty Scurll was on it as well. So I was like, okay, I'll do this. So I went and done that. Went for the audition. There was 300 guys there in the audition. And these guys were all like fucking built like Greek gods and mate, and I turned up shaved head.
The guy like guys for Geordie Shore type of thing.
Mate, no, aye, these guys will know me.
Aye.
I've turned up fucking like I'm going to court. I've got a 3-piece suit on, right? Shaved head and all that. And I've walked in and I've just went, oh my god, man, I'm not
Straight
a fucking chance of oh mate. I was like, not a chance am I getting this. So fucking next thing, I'm the first one in. So it's like you walk in, right? I fucking try not to laugh. And they go like you're going to be coming down in a pretend lift. I'm like, how you meant to kid on you're coming down in a pretend lift? And they were like, oh, we'll just tell you to, when the lift comes down to walk out for your audition. So I'm standing there and they're like, right, dance in the lift. So I'm getting it,
Pure Bucky Boy style dance.
Aye, mate, right. And they're like, right, the lift's landed, so I come out and I'm like, oh, start Ric Flair it and all that, man. And for there, I did the audition. And I was out one day shooting with my ma. And I get a phone call. And it's like, hello, David, this is Dan from ITV Productions from Take Me Out. I'd just like to say you've been shortlisted. But I didn't know what shortlisted meant at the time, right? So I'm fucking on the phone to the guy and I went, oh, pure gutted. I'm like, oh, mate, listen, I'm so sorry to hear that. Maybe I'll try again next year. And this guy's fucking just started laughing at me down the phone and he's went, do you know what shortlisted means? And I went, no. And he's like, mate, it means that you've been shortlisted in the last 4 years on the show. And I was like, yeah, fucking dancer, here we go. So I done the show. I go to the date. We went to Fernando's. Everything was all paid for. British Airways flights, first class, a whole lot. Even get paid a wage for going on the show.
Fair
I get
enough.
gave €40 to go away with an all, which was brilliant.
Pound shots.
So I got the date. The date was a success as well. And then we went out on the night out. And then boom, that was it. So we spent the whole weekend there, and it was basically back up the road. So it was no bad, mate. It was a great experience. So it was a fantastic experience, mate.
Whatever happened
Brilliant,
to the
man.
lassie you went on a date with? Did you keep in contact with her, or
No, it was
was it
too
all
far
just?
out, mate.
Where was she from?
She was from London.
Oh,
So fuck that, man. Fucking down there for the family dinner at 7:00.
at least we know what you'll be doing if ICW go to London.
I'll not be phoning her.
So last question of the show: what's bigger, the sun or the moon? And
They're the same thing, don't.
that was suggested by lovely big Lou King Sharp. I use
Aye,
big
I
lightly.
fucking-
I use
I
big
fucking
lightly
bet
because
it
he's
was.
about that height.
Aye, I know. Aye. They're the same thing. Don't treat me like a cunt.
Fair enough. So you enjoyed yourself on the podcast, mate?
Aye, I loved it being on the podcast, mate. Or some boy.
I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Well, guys, what are you going to say? Sorry.
I was about to say I've had a good time.
We've had a laugh on the third take.
Aye.
But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.